Hey y'all, welcome back to another Freddy Cooks International cooking video. I hope today's video finds you in good health and good peace. Today I'm going to show you how to spice up some canned greens. So just because your greens come out of a can doesn't mean it has to taste like it. So take down all of your seasons and let's make some magic in this kitchen. I'm also going to be making a pan of cornbread, a skillet of bread that is, like your mama ain't never made it. This is the real authentic version. I'm going to show you how we do it in the South. So stay tuned. Let's start with the cornbread first. We're going to use 1 cup of flour, and 1 cup of yellow cornmeal. I prefer the yellow cornmeal. It turns out much better for me, but of course that's my preference. You can use any kind of cornmeal you like. Try it this way, you won't be disappointed. You use maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon or less of baking soda. You don't need much baking soda, you just need enough to activate the ingredients. Maybe 3-4 teaspoons of baking powder, something like that. About a 1/3 of a teaspoon, 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. I normally use 2 eggs, but I looked in that refrigerator and what do you know, I only had 1. So I told you we were going to be making the authentic Southern way. That means we got to make it work. I got to make this bread. Children gotta eat, so some gotta give. I'm also going to be using some milk. I would say about 1 cup of milk, but it depends on what you end up with. Oh, let's go in with the sugar first. Now, if you like sweeter cornbread, then you want to use more sugar. That was probably about a good 1.5 teaspoons, 2 teaspoons. I'm using about going to end up with about a cup of milk, or a little bit more than that, but it's easier to add more than to take out, so I start with a little less than I need, and about 1/4 of a cup of oil. I saved my bacon grease. That was actually bacon grease, but you don't have to do that. That's just another authentic trick. You use what you have. So we're going to be using, and I use this whether I have the second egg or not, because it makes your bread much fluffier. That was some sour cream. I normally try to use about a tablespoon of sour cream, but that's all the sour cream I had. Looks like it's time to go shopping, but I have to do what I have to do. Had that little sour cream in the pack, and now we're going to stir it all up. You can tell how much more of the ingredients you need by the consistency. And I'll show you the consistency you need after we continue, but that is some butter. Now that's about a 1/2 stick of butter. And I'm adding more milk, as you can see. No, it doesn't need to be runny, but it doesn't need to be thick. So after you stir, you should end up with consistency like a thick pancake batter. I didn't want to keep putting milk in it, so I'm actually going to use some hot water or warm water. Now, after you add your water, you're going to want to stir really vigorously. This is how you're going to be able to tell if you need more liquid. Now, if after you add your cup of milk, at least you're going to need a cup of milk for this recipe. So after you add your cup of milk, and if you get this consistency, then you don't need any water at all. I used that was about a 1/2 cup of water. But again, this is what you're looking for. So however you can achieve this, like I said, it's easier to add more than it is to take out. So start with a little bit of what you're trying to use and eventually add. Okay, there is my skillet. Cast iron skillet. It makes the best cornbread that you ever want to make. But if you don't have a cast iron skillet, then you have to use what you have. You can use an aluminum foil pan. You can use a Pyrex dish, glass Pyrex, if you don't have the cast iron. This is the best investment that you can ever have, though. I'm just saying. Sprayed it with a little Pam cooking spray. I guess that was Pam, but whatever kind of cooking spray you got, butter flavored. And pour it on in there. You're gonna use your oven at about 425 degrees. You're gonna cook your bread for about 15 to 20 minutes. When you start smelling it, if you start smelling your bread, you need to check on it because it's almost time to be taken out. Okay, it goes in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes at 420 degrees. Woo! Don't you like that sound? I sure do. We are beginning to cook our greens. We need about 1/4 cup of grease. I have some bacon grease that I already had, but you can use shortening or oil with some bacon, however much bacon you want. You don't even have to use bacon. You can use turkey wings, you can use turkey legs, smoked turkey legs, you can use ham hock, you can use fat back, and however much of it you want. Again, keep in mind you can use turkey, smoked turkey. It's just as good, almost as good. Got some chopped onion that's going in there. I guess that's about 1/2 cup. It's really all up to you. I love onion, so it can never be too much onion for me. I'm actually going to do some red bell pepper. That's like 1/4 cup sliced red bell pepper. I'm also going to do some orange bell pepper for some color. If food looks good, it tastes good most of the time. At least when I'm cooking it. So yes, about the same, about another 1/4 cup of orange bell pepper. And you don't want to cook your bacon until it gets crispy. You still want it soft because you're not trying to have crunchy bacon in your greens. Oh, there is a green Thai pepper that I threw in there. I don't think I even saw that before. I am putting some garlic. I guess that's like however much you want, really. Here are my greens. I'm using the Margaret Holmes greens. I like those. I like the Glory greens as well. It'll be nice if I could put my own greens out in a can and maybe a frozen green. Who knows? One day maybe, maybe not. But these are the best greens that I could find, really. I don't really see many types of greens. But either way, we're gonna make them our own, so it doesn't matter. Now, I season my greens exactly the same whenever I'm using fresh greens. So the only thing different than using canned green and fresh greens is that you are cleaning your greens and picking them before you actually put them in your pan. But fresh greens are always much better. But I season them just the same. Okay, now we're gonna start with this actual seasonings. I'm using onion powder, like 3/4 teaspoons of onion powder. Not too much red pepper unless you like spicy. About 3/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. Sorry. Some pepper, like maybe half teaspoon, up to you. Some Cajun seasoning. Gonna do a little salt. It's like a teaspoon of salt, maybe a little more. Good teaspoon and a half. That is sugar, like about a tablespoon of sugar. Cut the bitterness. I was going to put some apple cider vinegar. I normally like to use white vinegar, but I didn't think I had white vinegar, and I remembered I actually made some pepper sauce out of Thai chilies, of course, some Thai chili pepper sauce that has white vinegar, and so I'm going to use that instead. You don't need much, maybe like a teaspoon. Of course, you stir it all together. And just let it cook for another 5 to 10 minutes. Just let the seasonings marinate throughout. And here you are, seasoned collard greens. Although the can says that they already are seasoned, but these are seasoned greens. And just in time because our bread is done. Woo! Cornbread de la Fred. With a little block of butter on top of there. We're gonna melt the butter on the bread on the top just to give you a little buttery taste. Look how golden brown and delicious that looked. And it did not disappoint, I promise you. How you doing? All right, so I am going to cut the bread and let you see how it came out. Best pan of cornbread that I've ever made, and I didn't even make it how I normally made it. I had to improvise because I didn't have but one egg. That's okay. You can make this recipe just like I just made it, and this should be the outcome. The best pan of cornbread of your lifetime. Just look how it lifts out of the pan, of the skillet. Now I did let this cool off for about 5 minutes before I tried to do this, but look at there. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have not already seen the Krispy Kreme Sloppy Joe Donut Sandwich from 4 months ago, I highly recommend you go to my channel and find it. Thank you so much for watching Freddy Cooks International Soul Food. I have a hot sauce review and another dinner conversation headed your way. Boop, 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 boop.